I'm Elle, and today we're going to be talking about Here for the Tea's latest video regarding David Scissorhands accusing Jeffree Star of racism. This is absolutely rancid tea now, but the real tea isn't actually talking about whether Jeffree's racist or not. It's about how Here for the Tea lied to and manipulated her subscribers. Here for the Tea's recent credibility issues stem from problems with Thomas Halbert, who was a friend of hers. Thomas apparently told her that he heard Jeffree say the N-word in front of him, and Here for the Tea subtweeted about it well before Thomas's video came out on the 12th of October. Back on the 29th of September, someone asked Here for the Tea, "Sam, weeks ago in one of your videos, you said something like there was someone in the community that had proof that Jeffree was still saying the N-word and used it around them. Whatever became of this? Was this person David Scissorhands?" Here for the Tea replied, "No, it wasn't David. It's another person. We're still waiting." Then, on the 10th of October, Here for the Tea tweeted, "To the influencer who suddenly wants to go mute on Jeffree's racism when they heard it with their own ears, go fuck yourself." Since then, there have been a ton of receipts outed that proved Thomas lied. Like I said in a previous video, it was only natural that Here for the Tea believed what a good friend was telling her. The way that Thomas backstabbed her was disgusting, and I am totally in her corner for that. That said though, Here for the Tea prides herself on receipts, but she didn't bother to do any of her usual basic fact-checking before standing by that accusation. She totally missed Thomas' earlier videos that discredited him. What's even more telling is that she mentioned none of the rest of Thomas's story. Thomas told both Manny MUA and Nikita Dragon that Jeffree allegedly had a blackmail video which included footage of Nikki Tutorials saying a racial slur and Laura Lee fat-shaming, and we're supposed to believe that Thomas didn't also tell Here for the Tea about it? I think he did. I think she just ignored it. But why does any of that really matter? Because I don't think Here for the Tea cares about anything at all but bringing Jeffree down. For anyone that doesn't know, Here for the Tea and Jeffree were actually friendly and followed each other on Twitter up until the end of June 2017. On the 20th of June 2017, Here for the Tea posted a video called Jeffree Star Caught Out in Major Lie, which talked about the Twitter fight between Jeffree and Jackie, where Jeffree exaggerated the length of time that he had blocked Jackie. Why he really blocked Jackie is unclear, and only he knows the truth. There has been speculation that Jeffree used Here for the Tea to get out a statement about the Nikki Tutorials and Two-Faced contract drama in Here for the Tea's video on the 26th of April 2017. But what makes the most sense is that he unfollowed her because he didn't like that she didn't believe his version of why he blocked Jackie Aina.
In fact, after the last video I made about him, which I will also link in the description box below, wherein I was completely honest on how his timeline of events with respect to him blocking Jackie Aina simply did not match up with reality, he unfollowed me. Later that night I received a message letting me know that the unfollow was nothing personal, he simply wanted to distance himself from drama and that he unfollowed all drama channels, which isn't entirely true, but anyway. I definitely respected his decision, and trust me, I don't give a fuck who follows me, but we all know the real reason he unfollowed me is because I made an unfavorable video about him that contained nothing but facts and timestamps, and just because one video was unfavorable definitely doesn't mean that all future videos will be. If I believe something you're doing is shady, I'm gonna say so, but I also have no issue standing up and making a favorable video when I believe you're right, which I've done many times for him and other influencers. But anyway, we know the real reason was not because he wanted to stay out of the drama, because here we are. Here's the problem with that apology video, and I realized that yes, although he didn't make any racial remarks, he just clarified in one comment that he just cannot help himself, he cannot keep his word, and the fact that he made this video, which will forever be a marker in which gives people an actual reference point, where he goes on record stating that from that point forward he will not feed into the drama and then goes and stirs the pot again, is actually worse than if he hadn't made the video at all. His comment on Trend Mood's page makes his apology look like a disingenuous PR move that he never intended on taking seriously in the first place, and for the people who watched the apology video and decided to give him another chance, I'm pretty sure they won't be offering him a third chance. Again, I know this has nothing to do with the racial remark apology, but it does have everything to do with credibility, and if he can't hold back from making a public comment on a post, how is anyone going to believe him when it comes to much more serious issues like racism?
Although Here for the Tea claimed that she didn't care who unfollowed her, she slipped from talking about Jeffree in her video to talking to him. This is also the first time that Here for the Tea attempted to weaponize racism to bite at Jeffree. Here for the Tea tried to manipulate her viewers into believing that because Jeffree made a throwaway, snide comment towards a company, that meant that his apology for racism was somehow invalid, all because she was bitter that Jeffree unfollowed her. Let's jump forward to today and get right into Here for the Tea's latest video.
With respect to the date of David's deleted screenshot, it could just be that he's not super precise when it comes to dates, and perhaps he got his iPhone a little earlier than indicated. I'm not totally sure.
Here for the Tea dismisses David as simply not being precise when he says that he got his new iPhone earlier this year instead of earlier. Okay, so, well, let's watch a clip from Internet Infamous.
If you watched my last video, you would know that I, along with a lot of other people's biggest thing about this was the fact that he was showing off an Android phone, however, he was showing iMessage receipts. So I did a little bit of digging to see if I could find out exactly when he bought this phone. He says here that he bought the phone this year. However, that's a lie too. On the 22nd of August in 2017, he was tweeting from an Android. And by October 8th, he was tweeting from an iPhone.
Why go to extreme lengths to protect David and say he might have got his phone a little earlier? A little earlier is December, not the beginning of October. If Here for the Tea is confident about the receipts, then she can still point out that David has lied. That puts all of her cards out on the table. But she doesn't do that.
However, it's important to consider the evidence presented using critical thinking. In order for David to quote-unquote fake the text messages between himself and Jeffree, he would have had to meticulously plan this out so that the text messages line up with corresponding date-stamped events.
Here for the Tea knows that this is a lie because Metamorphosis Rocks posted a video that showed exactly how easy it is to insert a single fake text message in the middle of a very real conversation. In her video, Rox uses an old phone, downloads an app, and inserts a text into the middle of a real text conversation that she had with her daughter.
So now I hit fake, which is right under the message. It says fake. I'm going to hit fake. Okay, it says fake SMS created. Okay. Now if you look at the messages, that's my daughter's name. And the last message says okay, right? All right. Alrighty. Look at February 14th. Today is October 4th, 2018. Time is 11:02 and what did I write? And I'm not a psychic. And I accidentally sent it twice, by the way. So, and why am I showing you that? I'm showing you also that the next message on this list is from March 15th. Okay? And the message previous is from January 26. I don't know if you can see it, but I hope you can.
So, as you can see, there's no meticulous planning involved. Here for the Tea also decided to block Rox after Rox retweeted this video, so she can't claim ignorance or that she made a mistake. Faking texts is surprisingly quick and easy. It isn't the massive production that she claims. Here for the Tea wants her subscribers to believe that the only way to fake texts is by faking entire conversations. If you believe that, it's much easier to automatically believe that every single text and word is real. But if you know the truth, then you'll go in being more skeptical. And Here for the Tea does not want that.
Initially, people thought that Jeffree was calling Angel a gorilla. However, on August 1st, 2017, Jeffree said he unfollowed David after he posted a photo of Jackie because she affected his life in a, quote, horrible huge way, end quote, and he, quote, just can't look at any photo of her, end quote. Here we are just over a month later on September 5th, 2017, Jeffree allegedly says, "Are you done posting that gorilla? Would love to follow my friend again, LOL." David essentially confirms that Jeffree is referring to Jackie as a gorilla because in his response, he literally says, quote, "I erased Jackie's pic next to your magazine cover," end quote, which was the entire reason for the unfollow in the first place. David knew exactly to whom the quote-unquote gorilla reference was made towards in order to respond like that.
Here for the Tea wants us to believe that there's only one reasonable explanation, but there are actually three. One, the texts are all real and Jeffree is talking about Jackie Aina like Here for the Tea wants us to believe. Two, the texts are all real, but Jeffree is actually talking about Angel Marino. Or three, some or all of the texts are actually fake. If we start by presuming for a second that the texts are all real, then we really need to think about the full conversation and what actually makes sense. If we write it out in plain English, without the insults, we get, David, I'm about to unfollow Angel. I'm tired of seeing his face on Instagram. Jeffree, do it. Have you stopped posting blank on Instagram? I would love to follow my friend again. Jeffree, I tried telling you a while ago, but I'm glad you experienced who he really is for yourself. David, yeah, I've got to live and learn. I erased Jackie's picture next to your magazine cover, tee hee hee. Jeffree, I'm following you again. I'm going to put 2 further translations of the conversation on the screen so you can pause the video, read them and think about them. Which of those conversations makes the most sense to you? I can talk about how weird I find it that in David's alleged texts, Jeffree supposedly jumped to only using pronouns instead of a name or another insult when he moved on to talk about someone else, or even how David didn't answer Jeffree in chronological order if you believe that all of the texts are real, but that isn't actually too important. At the end of the day, there are going to be split opinions, and that's fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe. Totally cool as far as I'm concerned. But the point is, there is a lot to think about that's really obvious, but Here for the Tea has refused to acknowledge anything that doesn't fit her biased narrative, even though she said that she was going to set that bias aside. Either she did that on purpose because she hates Jeffree that much, or she's so blinded by her hatred that she can't see the wood for the trees. Either way, that is another knock to her credibility.
The only photos of Jackie that remain on David's Instagram are the ones from her collaboration with Artist Couture from approximately 7 months prior. If we look at Jackie's Instagram feed, she posted 5 photos from her 30th birthday shoot from July 23rd to August 4th. David styled her hair for this shoot and she tagged him in each photo. Being that David's Instagram is essentially his portfolio, wouldn't you think he'd want to showcase his work on Jackie, being that she's an influencer with a large following? He's posted her in the past in addition to posting other influencers, so why would this time/shoot be any different? It doesn't make sense.
In a screenshot, Here for the Tea highlights a picture of Jackie and a video of Jackie, both posted to David's Instagram. The problem is that David only posted Jackie 9 times on his Instagram altogether. 5 of those images have been deleted, but 4 of them remain. 2 pictures, a GIF and a video. They're all from the same campaign, that's true, but unlike Here for the Tea's manipulated image that states that they only exist on the 12th of November 2016, the real truth is that a picture and a video were posted on the 12th of November, another video on the 24th of November, then a final picture on the 25th of November. That still looks suspicious, but the fact is that David is very delete happy on Instagram. Not only has David deleted pictures of Jackie, but he's also deleted pictures of Jeffree, Laura Lee, and even a picture of Jeffree, Manny, and Laura Lee at RuPaul's Drag Con in New York back on the 10th of September 2017. Here for the Tea wants us to believe that it would be unthinkable for David to want to delete Jackie from his Instagram unless it was purely to lure Jeffree back in. But I think that David randomly choosing to delete pictures proves my theory about the texts, that Jeffree was hinting at David to drop people that he didn't like, and David decided to throw in that he had already deleted some pictures of Jackie to tempt Jeffree back. I just don't think that the conversation between David and Jeffree is as deep as some people want it to be.
In fact, I welcome any neutral party currently in possession of Jeffree's number to confirm it.
At first, I thought it was odd that Here for the Tea, who prides herself on perfect receipts, didn't get Jeffree's number reconfirmed before posting the video, but it actually makes sense. If Here for the Tea had gotten confirmation, then the video would be over and done with. This way, if someone else steps forward to reconfirm the number, then Here for the Tea can make another video and reignite this whole debate. One thing that Here for the Tea isn't is stupid. This is another calculated and manipulative move to attack Jeffree, but she wants us to believe that she isn't working on a grudge somehow.
David and I planned on meeting for an interview, which ended up falling through.
Here for the Tea allowed her followers to believe that she had met up with David in person. Tawny Michelle posted a video on the 10th of October with these tweets from Here for the Tea. And by the way, I saw the texts for myself going all the way back to when they were in Finland together. I heard the voice notes. The texts came from him, and that's the tea. When Jeffree and David were in Finland together. There are audio files attached to Jeffree's contact number. And by the way, David is in Canada at the moment. I literally scrolled through David's phones with him back to 2016. There is no possible way for him to have made those texts up. Everything checks out. He may have gone about it the wrong way, but he's not lying. There are audio files attached to Jeffree's contact number. On an unrelated Twitter post, someone said to Here for the Tea on the 11th of October, "Girl, I love you, but you keep saying you have proof and I've been with David and all this crap. How do you expect us to believe you when all you're doing is just typing with no receipts? Show us a pic of you and David, then if you were with him. No hating, just want the true tea." Here for the Tea responded, "I'm honestly trying. If it were up to me, I would have already shown it. I can't force someone to let me record them." Someone else then replied, "Can we just have like a Snapchat pic of you two? He's posting Insta stories of him with a guy." Her followers wouldn't come to her asking for proof that she and David were physically in the same place if she hadn't said so in the first place. If it were only implied, Here for the Tea wouldn't have made an excuse that David wouldn't let her film them together. If her followers had misinterpreted what she'd said, then Here for the Tea would have corrected them and said that she wasn't with David. Instead, she perpetuated a lie. Shockingly enough, on the 13th of October, 2 days later, Here for the Tea replied to David on Twitter saying, "Can I come over?" To which David replied, "Sam, bring that ass, baby girl, let's do this already. It's time to #take the trash out." Here for the Tea then replied with airport codes for Toronto and Los Angeles. So they hadn't met, even though Here for the Tea had been on Twitter claiming that they were together in person. So she blatantly lied to her followers, which is disgusting.
I did, however, go through his Android and his new iPhone with him on FaceTime.
Here for the Tea included an exclusive clip of David scrolling through his Samsung, but there is no video evidence or proof of them FaceTiming together. She can clearly go back over videos and block out the personal information, but here we only get screenshots? That's dodgy. And for some reason, Here for the Tea doesn't seem to care about the alleged false rape accusation by Jeffree Star towards Nikita Dragon. She's only pushing the Jeffree is racist narrative. That's weird.
As we know, Jeffree has deemed David's messages to be fake news and took it a step further, accusing Laura Lee and her quote-unquote crew of, quote, hiring an old friend to make up some bullshit to distract from their fake apologies, end quote. David has denied this, saying that the last time he spoke to Laura or Manny was at Coachella when he did their hair in April of this year. Interestingly, no one demanded proof of this alleged hiring because for one reason or another, Jeffree isn't held to the same standard as everyone else. He can simply make accusations against people and respond to situations with quote-unquote fake news, and everyone just accepts it.
The conspiracy that Jeffree posted is just a conspiracy and added nothing to the conversation. But Here for the Tea can't complain about conspiracies being taken as fact with no evidence after she accused Rich Lux of being on Jeffree's payroll. She tweeted, "Oops, looks like some drama channels are working with influencers. Clocked." This is about Rich Lux's video, Jeffree Star disses Manny MUA about being fake. At the beginning of the video, Rich uses a receipt which was obviously sent to him by Jeffree. You'd think from Here for the Tea's tweet that the whole video is about supporting Jeffree and dragging Manny, but to be honest, it's clickbait. The story was actually only 2 minutes out of a 24-minute video. The rest was essentially dragging Huda Beauty. It's particularly rich when we remember that Here for the Tea was the one pushing Thomas Halbert into making the video to accuse Jeffree of saying a racial slur. She can have a conspiracy theory about Rich, who's openly friends with Jeffree, but we know for a fact that she has been working with influencers. The only person that she clocked here is herself.
Interestingly, Jackie mentions that Jeffree has never directed an apology towards her, Shayla, who he called a broke fucking rat, or any of the black women he directly offended or said derogatory things about publicly or privately.
I need to pause this right here because I literally cannot stand anyone weaponizing bigotry. If Jeffree is rude to a woman that happens to be black, then he's just being rude. If he's rude to a black woman because she is black, then he's being racist. This is a manipulation tactic to make us believe that Jeffree ever being rude to someone that isn't white is automatic racism. It also primes us to believe that he's still being racist in public and doesn't care, and that's just not true. Jeffree being rude is bad enough. Just say that he's being gross and rude. It's not actually hard. It's also more than a valid reason to not like him, because he really can be vicious. Back before Jeffree unfollowed Here for the Tea, she didn't believe that the term rat was derogatory either.
I'm going to be totally honest here. When I received the notification of Jeffree's tweet calling Jackie an irrelevant rat, I was absolutely speechless. I actually had to sit down and think about it for a minute because I don't think interpretation of the term rat is cut and dry, especially in this situation and especially when it comes from his mouth. I feel like I've tried to be fair with Jeffree when it comes to his past because I've seen evidence of him addressing and apologizing for it, which for me personally was enough to move on. However, I realize the same may not be true for others and I respect that. I know that while I personally do not interpret the term rat to be a derogatory term, as I said earlier, it's not cut and dry and everyone will interpret it differently, but especially in his case, with his past, he should be choosing his words wisely. This is particularly interesting to me because one could look at these comments and group them with the comment he made about Jackie and say, well, out of all of the arguments Jeffree's had online and on Twitter with various people, to my knowledge, the only two people he's referred to as rats happen to be women of color. He didn't call Kat Von D a rat, and he didn't call Jared Blandino a rat. But on the flip side of the situation, could it be a coincidence? Yes. Also knowing that his past continues to follow him to this day, playing a significant role in how people perceive him, if he truly believed the word rat to be a derogatory term, would he openly throw it out there like that, knowing that it would only add more fuel to the fire he's tried to put out for several years now? I don't think so, but again, I can totally understand how some may not see it like that. Now, I spoke to Jeffree briefly, and he addressed the context in which he uses the word rat to be as follows. I call anyone who is annoying a quote-unquote rat. Been saying that for years, and it's not that serious. For her to try and use my past and turn it into a race thing is really gross. And honestly, I get that too. If he uses the word rat in his day-to-day life to describe someone he finds to be annoying, I get it, but I also get that just because he sees it as a very innocuous term doesn't mean that others will, and he should be sensitive to that.
Notice the difference. When Here for the Tea was on good terms with Jeffree, she believed him when he said it was just a name to call someone that he didn't like and gave the situation a fair and balanced view. Now that she doesn't like Jeffree, it's an excuse to accuse him of being a racist.
Something I find very interesting is the fact that to date, Jeffree has not addressed Jackie despite her tagging him in her posts directly calling him out, and why hasn't he responded to David other than to say fake news? David is making some pretty bold claims here. We saw how quickly Jeffree addressed Thomas Halbert's claims. He came with receipts, honey. Why doesn't he have the same energy towards Jackie and David?
As far as I'm aware, Jackie and Jeffree hate each other. It would be pointless for Jeffree to address her. I've seen a lot of people ask why Jeffree went for Thomas but hasn't addressed David, which seems suspicious to them, but the situations aren't actually comparable. When David eventually posted his video, it was mostly disliked. There were a lot of people pointing out how he wasn't credible. Only Jeffree haters came out to say that they totally believed him. Plus, David's video hasn't even had 30,000 views. He has under 4,000 subscribers. When Thomas posted his video, on the other hand, most people did believe him. Drama channels came out in droves to support Thomas. Thomas also has over 500,000 subscribers, and the video has over 500,000 views. It's a much bigger deal. One is a tiny story that most people rejected, the other was a massive story that most people accepted. When you look at it like that, it makes much more sense as to why Jeffree wouldn't bother to respond to David. I know that I've talked a lot about Jeffree's alleged racism in this video, but that isn't actually the point. No one but David and Jeffree will ever know the truth, and we can agree to disagree on different interpretations. The real story is now that Here for the Tea has a big platform, and because she brought amazing, genuine receipts to the table in the past, there are a lot of people who will believe whatever she says, even when there's no proof attached. The goodwill that she cultivated means that she's automatically trusted. Now, I think that she's exploiting that for her own gain. Others believe that she brings all the receipts, but as we've seen, she cuts out what doesn't fit her narrative. She has her own agenda. She's more than happy to blatantly lie to our followers and subscribers. That isn't okay. It isn't okay for others to let this behaviour slide either, just because she has a certain number of followers or because she has connections with influencers or whatever else. I don't hate Here for the Tea. I'll always be fair to her. But when we remember that Here for the Tea has only been desperate to paint Jeffree as a racist ever since he unfollowed her on Twitter, we know that whenever a story like this comes out, she just can't be trusted. She tried to claim that random shade thrown erased his apology a year ago. She pushed Thomas Halbert's false claim without basic fact-checking. She refused to be open about David's text claims. Here for the Tea just doesn't care about racism. She's just obsessed over taking Jeffree down. And the saddest thing is that all this drama comes back to the fact that Jeffree dared to unfollow her. That's the real tea. Anyway, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, or don't do any of those things because I'm not your mother. And as we say in The Sims, dag dag.